I'm going to talk to my friend Peter in Workrooms. Let's meet. He's in the UK. I am in California. Okay, so now we're all set. Do you want me to sit down here at the desks, so we're like at desks together?
Yeah, and then I guess you can see I've been scrolling on the screen there. I guess you can see my effort as a designer.
Oh,
Somehow UFOs got involved.
you did great. You did great.
Thanks. I spent all of 5 minutes on that.
I love it. That's awesome. This looks so good. And then this is like actually my desk here, so this is cool. Have you let go of the controllers and tried just doing gesture
I did
control?
a little. I'm not very used to it really. I think I've let go of the controllers, but now here's my hands.
Yeah. So we have our hands. Yeah. I think my hand detection might be in the wrong spot because it thinks I'm still sitting. No, now it's got the hands. Cool.
What I was thinking, maybe we could work through some of the questions I was discussing with you earlier. Let me just see if I can.
Totally.
Now I just need to be able to operate using my touch control here. I'm just going to switch. I now have my Facebook open, unfortunately. I'm just going to close some. I'll have to use the mouse, I think.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'm just going to grab a sip of tea because I brought tea into my room. And I thought I should have some tea while I'm in VR.
You don't have a cup in your hand, but you literally, all the hand movement is correct there. So
there should be a cup. Yeah, you can see that it's kind of crossing. Yeah, it's a very large mug. Don't worry, the video will show what I'm doing. But I'm just like, I don't want to spill it down my shirt is the only thing.
With all the wires and everything. So I'm just...
If I'd really been smart, I would have used a straw, right?
Yeah. And a thing with a... Let me just see if my hands will gesture. There's something over the top of the cup.
A lid.
That's
yeah.
Right. So I was thinking we might spend a little bit of time. I'm just going to switch off my computer. I'm getting used to these hand controls again. I'll see if I can gesture to switch off the computer screen here. But there we go. I just need to be slightly closer to it. So I think my first question that I was discussing before is what's your experience of using Horizon Workrooms? Have you tried it out very much so far, or is...
Well, I came in by myself because I haven't been in this space with somebody before. And yes, I did use it as a test as I was preparing for a big talk I gave on the Metaverse for real estate about a week ago. And so I tried it out. And, my experience was that it was like Horizons and Workrooms really need to separate the brand because they're so different as products.
Okay, so I only just had access to Horizon Worlds. You're referring to Worlds.
Worlds.
Yeah. And Workrooms does seem to be orientated towards, meetings like this, I guess. And again, it is almost that middle space between Worlds and what was Facebook Spaces that we met in previously.
Yeah.
So it feels like a kind of cross there. And I appreciated what you wrote recently. I think you wrote it rather than one of your videos in LinkedIn. You were saying how much you missed Facebook Spaces because it was really good as a kind of meeting space for people.
It was amazing. And it was amazing for showing media. That's what you and I first did, was that we were able to step into each other's 360s from our Facebook pages, and
Absolutely.
We were able to go into somebody else's 360 video that they had posted and made public. So it felt much more like an adventure and much more like it was conducive to reviewing content and sharing content with each other in a really playful way. So I think Spaces being sunsetted was a real shame because it then took them so long to launch Facebook Horizons or Horizon Worlds, and then when they did, it was such a letdown.
Yeah, and the other thing to add to that is that Facebook Horizon, I checked every few months, and really it's only in the last 2-3 weeks that I was able to experiment for the first time, because for a long time it was only available in the US and Canada. So
oh wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we only just had access I think maybe in the last 6 months at some point, but I missed the start of that. So I tried it out for the first time maybe 3 weeks ago, and Absolutely, I did feel a level of disappointment. I think one of the biggest challenges, similar to here, is that there is still such a cartoon feel, which is fine in Worlds, but I think if we're going to bring kind of a professional, veneer to Workrooms, it still feels quite cartoonesque, which personally I don't have a problem with, but I wonder how many people will actually be looking to use this product seriously.
Right.
So
Right. I mean, that's a really good question. I feel like the what it lacks in sort of character and avatar fidelity, I think it does make up for in world configuration. So this is a more robust meeting space for us to be in.
yeah,
It seems
yeah,
like it has very cool functionality, but I feel like, like where are we in a futuristic city somewhere? And there's like,
yeah,
maybe that's Chicago in 200 years. I don't know, but
yeah,
where
yeah,
we
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
where we are.
No, but again, this was an interesting question with, was it Meet in VR? Did you ever try? I think it might have been yourself or
Yes,
Nava Berg who actually put me onto that and said, hey, you should try this out as well. And one of the big questions,
totally.
one of the things I was talking to them about was like the backgrounds are quite important for setting the tone, really, in terms of professional
Really.
and they had a lot of, you could be in space, you could be in a futuristic world, you could be in the
Yeah.
mountains. And I always felt like less is more, in terms of you're
Yeah.
aiming to reach the professional audience. So I
Yeah.
think,
Plus, like letting
sorry.
go of the controllers right now. I mean, we just have to say, like the Quest
Yeah,
2. Are you in the 2 or the Pro? You're in the
I'm
2, right?
two, and the two, yeah, yeah,
So the Quest
yeah.
2 is just such a leap forward with the, tracking and inside out tracking. And I feel like that makes
Mm,
everything else so much more comfortable. And if you were in the Pro, you would actually have, not full occlusion here on the face. And so I think that would also
mm.
be a totally different experience of this being something maybe you would want to wear all day.
Absolutely, and I have been watching a lot of YouTube reviews on the MetaQuest Pro, and
Uh-huh.
a lot of people are saying that they could wear it for much longer than the Quest 2.
Mm-hmm.
But again, and also the resolution. I mean, the resolution is great as far as consumer offering. It's the MetaQuest. The Meta Quest 2 still holds up as probably the best consumer headset. That hasn't really been better. I hear arguments about
Yeah.
the Pico. I've never tried it, so
I tried the
objectively,
Pico. Oh God, I tried the Pico a couple times, but never as like a consumer device that I would buy. I always tried the
right.
Pico as part of another experience. For example, they had used Pico headsets on the water slides at Galaxy Airding outside of
Ah,
Munich, and so
ah,
I used the Pico headsets, which they waterproofed for those water slide experiences, and so the
wow.
Picos, and then I used Pico for like some like ducking under the lasers experience
Mm,
at AWE, and I think maybe some early Snapdragon Qualcomm demos were done on the Pico, and so which made sense, right? Because that was I
mm,
think the
mm.
chip in there, but I feel like if that was a limited view. I can't really say, but I'm sure the Pico keeps getting better and better. So, and I mean, we have lots of tools here too, right? We have, let's see if I can work on the
Absolutely,
tools sets as well. Let's see, desk, whiteboard.
yeah.
Let's see if I'm able to gesture that one. I think.
I
Oh,
might
there it
just
is.
delete
Oh,
my
that's cool.
masterpiece.
Did you draw it on the desk or did you draw it on?
I
You drew it
did.
on the
I
desk.
did.
Okay, so this is really cool. So,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so
You
yeah,
can
I think
add
I
to this.
can. I think I can add to this. Pick up
Mm.
your controller to use this. Okay, so it's
Ah,
asking me
yeah.
to pick up my controller. Okay. All right, so I'm back in controller.
Yeah. Now my controller's visible.
Hold
So
your
I might
computer
make some
like a
space for
pen.
you.
Oh, I see. And it wants me to move my desk. Okay, this could get a little dicey. Or move my computer. All right.
Ah,
All right, no, it's okay.
okay.
I
I
got it.
just made
Okay.
some room.
Draw
Mm.
continuously around the circle.
Ah, yes, you just need to set the pen up there.
Okay, now it's working. It's kind of like magic, Peter. I mean, that's freaking cool. That is like totally ridiculous. They're gonna get a heart for that. Oh my goodness.
Ah, excellent, excellent.
Okay,
You
so
never tried. You never tried this before?
not like this, not on the desk. I mean, I stood at the
Okay.
whiteboard and I did this, but here's the moment, right? This is the moment where here's a drawing that you are drawing. Where are you right now? You're in England.
I'm in my yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm in my workspace in the UK, and you're over in California.
Yeah.
And we
So
can collaborate on a drawing.
exactly. So we're going to collaborate on a drawing and we're going to just do a little, transatlantic tra- USA plus UK.
Oh.
And then I feel like that is the message for me here is like, and maybe we need some beams from your spaceship. Right? The message here is that Peter
Absolutely.
started a drawing and now we are making something together in Workrooms.
Yep.
I feel like if you really drill into it, I mean, it took us a long time to get to this point. Just the setup,
Yeah.
and obviously we're trying to do video and we're doing some other things to kind of share with the community on this one, but I feel like this is
Yeah.
the aha moment for me anyway, is like I know how hard it is, right? Even if you use like an Apple Pen on your iPad and you want to share a document that you were drawing with somebody, a digital drawing, you can't just like
Yeah.
jump into their drawing. This is true collaboration here.
I was recently, of course, that Adobe bought up Figma. And there is a kind of parallel on a very strange VR level. There is a parallel here where that collaborative aspect of Figma
Oops.
is now here in VR. And are we okay?
Yeah, I want to redo the line. I didn't mean to erase your line. Sorry, go ahead.
Ah,
They
no
bought
worries,
Figma.
no
I don't
worries.
really know Figma. I never used them, but I mean Adobe, of course. But
Absolutely. Well, I didn't know anything about Figma until a couple of weeks ago. And in the same way that we're collaborating here, Figma's allowing kind of that, whiteboard moment where people are brainstorming.
Yeah.
And people are saying, is it an Adobe killer? Well, we're slightly going on to a different topic for a second, but it really is that initial brainstorming, that initial whiteboard moment where everyone's gathered around and they're putting stickies on the wall,
I love
all
that.
those things. And in the same way, this could easily be that moment here where rather than my masterpiece of the stick figure here and then your additional drawing, we're kind of planning out,
yeah,
the next meeting. We're planning out other processes, and it really is about process. But one thing that is missing from our meeting right now, that comes with the Meta Quest Pro, is the facial expressions.
yeah. I can't puff my cheeks out.
When you're smiling, or does it show, how many emotions does it show? Is it showing? It shows
I was in
happy?
headset in my Quest 2, and my colleague Gabriela was in, the Pro, and his expressions were unbelievable. Like, it was totally unbelievable. So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's different, and you don't feel. But I have to say, because I don't see my own expressions, I don't necessarily perceive that I'm not being emotive, other than hand gestures and stuff. But like, it's for the viewer. It's like if I were looking at you and you're in a Pro and you're like doing all these crazy things and you're smiling and you've got your eyebrows going up and your cheeks are puffing out and you're showing me like, you're smiling and all this stuff. That's like for me as a viewer, but you don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you're experiencing it.
Okay.
You're not experiencing it. It's like, I don't experience my smile. You experience my smile,
Yeah, and I think that would add, another unique level to this. I think there's a reasonable level of expression here. There's certainly the hand tracking. I think my room is getting a little dark, which is why I have some lights on here, but I tend to have the lights around the side of the room. So It's probably not picking up on this side, even though I do have lighting over to the right here. I might just pick up my other controller for a
Yeah,
second.
go ahead and do that.
That will
I
probably
feel
help.
like what else is there to do here? Like if I go here, I can make a sticky.
Ah,
Can you see that I've got the sticky going?
well, I think, is that on the whiteboard only, or I can't see your sticky there?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see you have it there. Now I've just pasted something over the top here.
Yeah, but this is
So I
not
don't
really
know,
like giving
I'm
me.
just gonna write.
Okay, so pen. Okay, so let's see. There it is. Okay, so Emily.
So that's my sticky. That's my. Can you see my sticky on the board there?
I put my name on
You
mine.
can see
I
my
can't
pointer
see yours.
Okay. So, no, there's yours.
But I might
Okay,
be
I
able
see
to
yours
make
now.
it, or I can't drag it out.
That's
I can
interesting.
just have.
I can't. You did just. Drag
I mean,
it
I can't
across
like
up to there.
expand it. Is what I was. That's what I meant to say. I think that might be a 2. Oh, there's yours.
I got it. Yeah. I just. You have to.
And what about this?
Confirm that it's what you want to write.
What about this? Are we suddenly in a side-scrolling video game here? Or is that just the width of the board?
That's
the width of the
maybe
board.
the width of the board. So try drawing.
Okay, so I'll try drawing something off of the screen here. So and you're a left-handed person too, which I am seeing for the first time. We're both left-handed. I wonder if that's a coincidence. I don't think so.
It's amazing how the general public seems that they feel able to comment, like when they completely don't know you. Random strangers will say, "Oh, you're left-handed," like what's wrong with you, in that kind of tone of voice. So
I think that I read in a book, maybe it was like one of the Malcolm Gladwell books, but it was something like why left-handed people still exist.
Okay.
Like why
Yeah.
out of like all the genetic reasons, like is there some advantage in like why wasn't it just completely eliminated from the gene pool? And apparently I think it's because we may have some sort of advantage in battles.
Okay.
Like they couldn't completely kill us because we came at them with our left-handed sword.
we thought our way around the problem visually because we were using the other side of our brain or something.
I know.
I think it's also a form of rebellion. There's a form of rebellion.
Totally.
Because obviously most people are taught to write right-handed.
I was gonna say, what happened to you? You're like, to the rebel within us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to write something here on this.
I've been doing quite a bit of digital drawing lately, so it's really fun to have a different. It's fun to have a different little canvas here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can see. Oh yeah.
Further to the.
That's cool. I know you're look at that. Look at that beautiful script. You're very artistic.
That's very kind.
Yeah, mate. Looks good. Further to the right. Yeah, it's just a circle at some point.
Comes back round and then to the rebel
This is
within.
so
I see
awesome.
over to the other side.
But what about images? I see that you have images here.
Yeah,
Let me see what I can get. Oh, I can't just bring them in from Facebook. See, that's a challenge. It would be much better to bring in images from Facebook. You must have connected to your computer, right?
I did. I connected and uploaded to the meeting room, I think. I think you upload it to the room. I need to check this.
And tell me, how did that make you feel? Did that make you feel weird to say to Facebook, yes, you can have access to my computer? I felt like that was the moment where I was like, really? I'm not so sure about that. Oh, oops, I left that on the...
there we go. That was one of the example images there that I uploaded, which is a series of pages from a photo book I was working on. I don't know if you noticed over in the corner there, I managed to put my logo on the wall.
I saw that. So, that's so cool.
So
and then the artwork.
Yeah, you could change the artwork to... You could have that as your logo over the other side.
Right.
And I think there's one maybe... I tried to upload a square. It's probably that image behind me. Do you see the image behind me there?
I do. With
the
the kind of
cityscape.
The kind of like
That might be the logo.
laser cat thing? Cool.
Yeah. That might be the logo that you upload. I don't
Huh.
know, because it seemed there were three spots. There was a landscape image, there was a portrait image, which is just behind you there,
Okay.
over to the left, that
Yeah.
one, so you can change that one. And then,
Cool.
of course, you can drop things onto the desktop like you've done there.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's
So I
neat.
just asked maybe one or two more questions
Sure.
that we had
I think that
planned
is
here.
there a timeout on this also that we know about? Is there a
There
timer?
will be. There's 6 minutes. It says to me 6 minutes. Pete's test workroom meeting. Just
Okay.
6 minutes.
So we
at the
just
top
got a few
there.
minutes to wrap up, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the other things that we were going to mention was, do you imagine, people actually using this in industry? Can you imagine it being used for in industry for actual meetings, or if not, what are the real sticking points?
That's a really good question. I think that trust is a really important element that you brought up a moment ago, that you trust this system to be a extension of your computer and of your desktop. So if we
Yep.
think of it as as a continuum of, I have my content on my computer, I have the internet, I have the phone, I have all of these different modes for being able to talk to people, then I think that I can imagine a use case where people are going to say, you know what, let's go into a workroom and meet together there and collaborate. My issue
Yep.
with this, and this will improve with the headsets, but that the fidelity for reviewing work or peer reviewing work, it's
Yep.
it's for photographers and for people like you and me who are working in media all the time. I don't know that I could get the fidelity from this headset that I would need to truly be able to say, because like my editors and I, will go into Zoom and we'll share each other's screens and then look at media together.
Yep.
That's the main reason I go into meetings with people right now. So I don't know that I could do that as well in here just because of the fidelity.
Yeah, I think the Quest Pro answers some of the fidelity
Yeah.
question. I think it also answers a few other questions in terms of how long would you want to spend. Like there's 4 minutes left out of 30 minutes here, but you spend any longer, and it's the headset's going to start to feel a little heavy on the
Sure.
face, and all sorts of other problems that are associated, eye problems, all these
Sure.
things. I think the Pro will make a bit of a difference. I think that, again, in many ways, we're talking about a different end of the design and creative
Sure.
process. Again, for as I mentioned with Figma, the initial meeting, the initial kind of sketching out of ideas and writing things down, there is scope
Totally.
for that. But I think that from my side, it's the overcoming the cartoonesque nature of it and convincing people it's a
Oh.
good idea.
Yeah.
Like one of the reasons I have a colleague, or I have a client who's also a good friend, and I've said, if you want to experiment with Workrooms, it's really good for this sort of thing. And I think there's a reluctance with also the complications we were having literally getting
Yeah,
to
I
this
think if
meeting.
we'd done
Again,
the
it's
invite, we could
not-
have sped it up a bit. And now that we've done it, if we were to meet again, I think we could get from invitation into Workrooms in a minute.
Yeah. It's not very obvious, not easy, and we have quite complicated setup. And you've got a cup
Oh,
of tea
yeah,
there
there's a
as
cup
well
of
that you're
tea.
drinking, which adds to
Yeah.
complication. There's some tea, so it's and it's not the easiest thing to do either. Whereas if you're in a Zoom meeting, you can just relax on
Right.
that side of things and just concentrate
Right.
on what you need to, rather than the technology actually getting in the way of the experience. So
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Any
So-
other questions? Any other stuff that you think is notable in this space? I feel like having fun with coworkers would be another reason. I think we do a lot of
Yeah.
sort of boring tasks sometimes, and I think the social aspect, it cannot be underestimated. So for that reason alone, I think it's worth getting in.
Yeah, I think say in maybe a year or two's time, when the Quest Pros come down, certainly I would probably invest in one when the price comes down.
Sure.
I think that the price points at the moment is prohibitive for me, but I will be looking to upgrade that. And I think if I can get 2 or 3 people interested, A lot of the time, I'm dealing with clients who literally will talk on the phone. So, you try and introduce this kind of setup. Again, that's the time to do it from my side, and I guess maybe from your side. When we're working with the media, we need a screen, we need a high spec PC to work with. We're working in Photoshop, we're working in all these kind of
Yeah.
high level apps that's not what this is about. So again, it's that introduction to a design process where people feel compelled to be part of this setup. I think that will be when things really take off.
Yeah.
So how many years, as a final, how many years do you think it'll ever happen, and maybe how many years before it's taken more seriously in a professional context?
I think some places can already use it right now, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to ever be the main. I mean, right now, if this were the end game, this would never be the main way people would jump in because
No.
there's like it's just not as it's not as easy. There's too much friction. So I would say
Yeah.
for whatever percentage
Yeah.
of people that will keep working in spatial computing or working in a spatial context, I would say early adopters now from now next 3 years, I think, because they have to start experimenting at some point, and I do think that it has merit, it has value, but it's still early. It's just very early still. But I mean, to have a
Yeah.
meeting with you today like this, amazing.
And try out a few of these things as well. And one other bit of news, I don't really use Apple products so much. I have an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil, and that's the limit of what I use from Apple. But they're bringing out a headset I was reading yesterday in the maybe $3,000 to $4,000 bracket.
Yeah.
And early signs are that it is again another jump up as far as technology goes. So we'll see what happens there
We
as
will
well.
see.
But,
That'll be a huge game changer without a doubt. So I'm looking forward to that. And this has been great. Thank you so much.
it's been great. Yeah, it's been good to talk again in VR. And thank you for your time. It's been
Thanks,
great to see you
Peter.
again.
Okay. Bye. Take care.